Yes, good evening. I'm Tim O'Connell from Milford, and I happen to live on Federal Hill Road, about a mile from the power lines. But my real question is, and I guess it will be a follow-up, with the compression stations. So there could be possibly one, let's say, in that Mason area, but are there others? Like, for example, would Milford have them, or is there one every 20 miles or 5 miles? Or I just have no understanding of that situation. And then I do have a follow-up if I could.
Right now, there's no compression station planned in Milford, and the way we're looking at it now is, there's the compressor station in the Mason, New Ipswich area right here. We do have a station in Dracut, Massachusetts, where we end, and we do have a station in Wright, New York, and then Mid Station. So right now, the way it's designed, and I can never say never, I don't ever want to say never, but the way it's designed now, the way it's been pre-filed, the way our hydraulics are for this pipeline system starting in Pennsylvania, these are the locations of the compressor stations at this time.
So very likely there are multiple.
There are multiple. Now I will say, in the future, 30 years, 40 years, one of the ways to expand a pipeline is to put compressor stations midway between the other compressor stations. So right now we're probably 40 miles apart, 45 on the station. So 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road, there possibly could be. That would be a completely separate siting process, a completely separate project. But as part of this project now, there is no compression sites here. These are where they're at.
Okay, thank you.
Those locations too, it's not going to be a guessing game. We'll identify in our filings where those stations are going to be. And as Mark said, if there's going to be any change, we just can't make a change. Siting a compressor station itself is a separate siting process. So we would need to go through all of the dialogue and approvals if in the future we decided to have additional stations. And the reason for the stations are, as Mark mentioned, it's transportation of gas. So if we're transporting 1.2 billion cubic feet per day or whatever we end up transporting based upon what our customers need, that's how we decide how much compression is needed. So if there's additional gas on top of that, additional customers sign up. What we're trying to design here too is a project that can address long-term needs. So there's not going to be an additional pipeline needed. We're trying to have we call this a transformational project to address long-term needs for natural gas in the region. So we want to build a pipeline that can handle not just what we think is needed now, but what can be handled 10 or 15 years from now. So the size of the pipe, the number of compressor stations, all based upon that. But you'll know through our regulatory filings exactly what that will be.